Hi everybody, it's Alex of Allie J Journal Designs, and I'm here today to do a craft with me video on how to make fabric pockets. And I've been making fabric pockets for a long time now, and I really love doing it, and it's super simple. And you can make any kind of size and shape, it's up to you. But the easiest way I think to start off, if you're learning how to do this, is to have a smaller pocket. So I'm going to show you an example of what we're going to make today. And this is what we're going to make. So as you can see, I glued down this beautiful fabric. This is from the boho tree on Etsy, and the trim is as well. So I'll show you how to pick whatever fabric you want and put it onto make a beautiful pocket, putting it on cardstock. And it doesn't have to be super heavyweight cardstock. It could, just as long as it's fairly sturdy. That's the most important thing. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pick our fabric. And my cat is trying to eat the plastic. No. Okay. So here I have lots of beautiful fabrics. And these are all from India, and I love using them. I mean, there's just so many different colors. If you order from Boho Tree, you can order a whole pack of this gorgeous silk fabric. So let's see, we could use this gorgeous, look at all the colors. Just so many beautiful colors. I think for today, why don't we use, where is it? Oh yes, let's use this gorgeous burgundy and gold fabric to make a pocket. All right, so I'm going to put those aside, and you only need, let's see, I'll just show you some examples. Different kinds of cardstock. You know, I have these little cardstocks. Sorry if I'm wiggling this camera. I have these smaller, they came I think from Tuesday Morning. And they actually, I think, are made for making cards, but what I do is I usually cut it in half. So I think we'll start with half of one of these, because that's what I did when I made this one. And then also you could just use regular scrapbook paper if you wanted to. I'm sure everybody has a ton of it. Or you could just use, you know, this is really nice weight. It's not too tough, I mean too hard. And you don't have to really worry about it being, you know, well, I guess you could worry if it's too flimsy. So I already cut a piece of this. So all I did was I cut that in half. And I'm gonna measure it for you. Let's see, it is about 5.5 by 4 inches. So the first thing you'll do is you'll take your gorgeous fabric, and what I like is I'll take my piece of cardstock and I'll just put it down. I'll turn the fabric over just to kind of measure where I want it. So what you want to try to do is leave at least 1/4 of an inch, or 1/2 an inch, I'd say, on either side, all right? And then on your top, I don't know, I mean, I think it's probably basically the same all the way around. And then I just take my scissors, it's this simple. Take my scissors and just cut along the side until, and don't worry about straggly bits of silk, because it's all gonna get glued down. And there we go. And then I'll just turn it to its side here and cut up along the other side. These are not the best scissors in the world. Okay, and it doesn't have to be straight. The next thing you're gonna do, now this is very similar to if you make fabric covers for your journals, but if you've never done that, this is a great way to practice, and it's a great way to learn how to do this. Now everybody does it differently. This is how I do it. So I just cut the corners, but don't cut it all the way to the corner of your cardstock. You want to leave a little bit of room. Okay, so there's a little bit of room, just enough so this doesn't poke out. You don't want that poking out, if that makes sense. And then I go to the other side and I'll cut a corner there. Okay, and then just flip it around. And like I said, it's not going to be perfect, and it does not matter. And then I'm going to cut this corner and the last corner. Okay, so there's your piece of fabric, all ready to go. Now you want to figure out how you want your pattern to look when you have your pocket in your journal. So, I think I like it this way. And I'm going to take my Fabrifix. You can use, I personally like to use Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac. They're both really great for gluing down fabric, and that's what I use. So I am just going to cover this one side of my, sorry, I need my new glue to arrive. I ordered it the other day. Supposed to arrive today, I think. Anyway, just put your Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac or whatever you like to use all over your card. And then I'm going to glue it down, making sure I have, looking at it the way I want it to look in my journal. Okay, so I put it like that. And then flip it over just to make sure your corners are sort of where you want them. Like I said, you don't want the corners to be overlapping your fabric. Okay, then what I do is I put glue along the long side, like that. Very simple. And I turn that over and just glue it down, making sure I press down and kind of press down for a second or two just to make sure it's stuck. Okay, and then do the same thing on the other long side. Okay, and then just press it down. If you want to practice doing this, I would suggest using fabric that you don't really care if it gets messed up. Like I wouldn't really want to use this fabric just to practice with. All right, and then we come to the short sides, and the same thing. It's kind of like wrapping a present, to be honest. Okay. So then I glue that down. And don't worry about these little edges because you can just trim those off. And I was doing this kind of quickly, so probably could do a better job, but it's fine. And also the other thing I'll do sometimes is I'll stick a little bit of glue right in the corner there just to kind of get it to stay down a little better. Okay, so once you've glued down all the sides, you flip it over, okay? And as you can see, these little pointy edges are sticking out. So what I like to do is I will just trim them very carefully because you don't want to trim too much so you see the card underneath. And there you go. And there you go. So there you have the beginnings of your pocket. My next step, what I love to do is then I'm going to try to find a trim that will go along the top of the pocket to give it extra pizzazz and make it look a little more like a pocket, to be honest. So I'm going to go back into my gorgeous trims here and figure out which ones I think would look best with this color. Now we have burgundy. Ooh, look at this. Wouldn't that look pretty? Let's see. No. I mean, it is beautiful, but it just doesn't quite fit the way I want it to. Sorry, this is just fun, isn't it? I love looking for different, oh, look at this. This is gorgeous. That's a little bit too big though, I think. Let's see now. Oh, look at, okay, I think maybe this. Although there's no gold in this, I often like to try to find something that has gold or whatever colors are in here. At least try to pick up one of the colors in your, oh, that's kind of pretty. I think I'm gonna do that. I mean, that's sort of an unusual combination. So that's what I'm gonna do. So the next thing you wanna do is you take your trim And even if you were using like lace, the same idea, you just want to make sure that you have some overlapping because you are going to glue that underneath your pocket on either side. So take your glue and you're just going to put some along the top of your pocket, just like this. Okay, and then take your trim and just stick it right on the top there. Okay, and like I said, make sure there's a little bit hanging over on either end. And then flip it over, and you're gonna just stick it, the little ends down on underneath your pocket. Make it super, super easy. Okay, so there we go, one side, and the other side. And honestly, these will, if you do not have a sewing machine, this is the kind of project you can do without a sewing machine. I tend to always sew after I do my pockets. So there you have a beautiful pocket. And after the glue dries, I would probably take some gold thread or try to get maybe, I don't know, the burgundy, and I would just sew right around here, probably a straight stitch, and then just leave the top. But you could take your stitch all the way if you wanted to. So there you have it. So that would make a really pretty boho pocket. And it doesn't matter how ugly it is underneath because that part you are going to glue. So if you pretend this is your journal, okay, and you're gonna take your gorgeous pocket and you're going to glue down one side, short side, long side, short side. Do not glue the top because then you won't have a pocket. And then you just glue it right down. You got a little thread there. And you're just going to glue it right down like that wherever you want to put it in your journal. And then the other thing I love to do is I will find, make a tag or usually some kind of beautiful image that picks up some of these colors, and I will put that in the pocket. So that might be the next step when I come back to you. We could make a beautiful tag using some of these colors. And here we have the other one. So I'm not sure, maybe we'll use this one when we make our tag. The other thing is, just remember, you can make any size you want, depending on your material. So for example, if you wanted to do a smaller pocket, you could, just gonna cut this little card in half. You could just maybe cut that one in half. That's gonna be pretty small, but it'll work. You can also make long pockets for the side. You could have a whole pocket along the side. So here you have your tiny little pocket. This one measures 4 inches by 2.5. So let's see, for a small pocket, I would tend to use maybe a smaller print. But here you have this lovely blue floral, and you do exactly the same thing. You cut it down to the size you want, do the edges, and then you could create it like with this. There's a lot of white and blue. You could use lace, whatever you want, really. I'm sure all of you have some great trims out there to use up. So that's basically how you make beautiful fabric pockets with very, very little work. And it's really fun to do, I just love it. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you really liked it, could you subscribe to my channel? I'm gonna try to put up a new video every week. I'm working on some Asian journals right now. I can give you a little sneak peek. Let me see. This is just a cover now. So this is a cover of one of my Traveler's, well, this one's not Traveler's Notebook size, but that is the cover. And I will keep you updated as soon as I finish these. They're gonna take a little while though. But thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.